Hello everyone. My goodness. Thank you for joining me. This is EPIOUSIOS. We play deeply here. It's deep for play. What are we doing? Deep things. No, I have not gone into my account and erased those old things. And a couple more are going to go. Everything... We're going to run up and look as these things click by so rudely. Do I have anything on me? Yeah. So, I ran around with a bunch of stuff because I decided to run around. I never dropped it off. Now we'll drop it off. All in there. No, what can I put in here? There's a lot of people moving, building, arriving. I'm thinking about reviewing a video suddenly, and I'll do it. Yeah, I could share it, keep it on top, play behind it. We'll work that out. Really. You can see I got my Discord showing. I can share another screen, of course. I'm going to stop sharing this one. I'll be opening another window capture. Just ease things. But I'm going to pull up YouTube in a bit. Let's get going. Personally, I'd rather have a review with reactions. I don't know how you feel about that. Doing a review in a little bubble. It is a review. I'm not going to call it a reaction. It's better than that. What are you talking about, catnip? What I'm talking about... It's funny when I talk to Catnap and I call myself Catnap. It's just the way it is. Funny. Everybody funny. And you're funny too. One thing well, there's only one thing I care about when it comes to having my channel shut down. And that is simply, do I need all this stuff? No, I don't need you. I need you if I just can't help but run into a boar. I gotta run away from them all. Take another stack. I don't need to use boost. A couple more things I could put down. Right. Let's do that. I don't have a deep for play account anymore. I think it's pretty funny. That is all very humorous. Once Osgold mentioned his account being taken, I don't know what method. I've heard of people. I can't use this anymore. You know, I guess this person created it without AI, so I'll respect that. If they just create it with AI, the cat walked on stage and stole Romeo and Juliet. That is fantastic. It's fantastic. How many views? 1.8 million. People need. So, where are you? It's Penny Loafer here. Definitely has a mode of operation. Who am I? Pax Dei doesn't tell you anything. That's not exactly true. It's gonna be an ad. Oh, nice. So, riveting. Riveting, riveting, riveting. Let's get, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Try to get you where I cheat you out of your advertising. Now, what I'm going to do is add I don't know which one's which. I gotta edit these. Select a window. Pax Dei doesn't tell you why. Capture your cursor, the client area. Interesting, client area. Okay. We'll figure out what that means later. Capture method, automatic. Cool. Now, let's make sure it is at the top. Window capture 4. Good, 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 good. I have this up here now. I'll just stick it down here. It's gonna mess everything up. Actually, how fun. Hold on. We're gonna improve, get up to 1080 there. That'll do it. And I did like it, as you can see. I mean, I'm not a heel. Oh, that didn't work. There. What you look like? You look all right. You look all right. All right.
Pax Dei advertises itself as a social sandbox MMO inspired by medieval myths, legends, and player-driven storytelling. After 2 hours, I still wasn't entirely sure who I was, where I was, or why I was there. What I did know was that I owned a hammer, several sticks, and what can only be described as an aggressively optimistic amount of grass.
An aggressively optimistic amount of grass. Can you all see that? I pray you can. We are learning OBS. Isn't it fun? Now, is this a trustworthy system? Heck, I really don't know. Too much grass? Is she saying there's too much grass? Catnap, do you think there's too much grass? It's not like we have to mow it or anything. I don't know. Ambitious amount of grass. I'm gonna start again. It's just the way it is. Good, it shows up behind. An aggressively optimistic amount of grass. Let's kick off again where I have everything adjusted, and we'll make this so much better next time. I guess I can preview. Let's move this a little. Catnap, we'll get it at your height. That works. Doesn't it? That goes into the area. Is that going to mess it up? Hey, that works. Doesn't it? I want it larger. I want it better. And I don't want all the little strings. So that works. Isn't that great? So satisfying. Right. Okay, great. Here we go. Pay attention.
Pax Dei advertises itself as a social sandbox MMO inspired by medieval myths, legends, and player-driven storytelling.
I think you have to say stuff
After
better.
2 hours, I still wasn't entirely sure who I was, where I was, or why I was there. What I did know was that
Okay, so it's loving itself, and that's fine. I don't mind the loving of oneself. I think it's a healthy habit.
I owned a hammer, several sticks, and what can only be described as an aggressively optimistic amount of grass.
She owned a hammer, 2 sticks. Okay, and at least she admits that she owned that aggressively optimistic amount of grass. You own it. Now, I have not checked out Penny Loafer's channel. In fact, I watched the beginning of a video she had before that I highlighted in my history. Does she play Sims? Does she play, simulator stuff? I wonder. I should check out, I might check that out. Well, I will check that out. But not here and now. I'm taking it as someone who's just looking at, oh, this is on Pax Day. Now, many people, she seems to find the start shocking. It can happen.
So let's talk about Pax Dei, the MMO where I spent less time learning the lore and more time figuring out how to be a medieval contractor.
The lore. The lore. Let's, the lore. Pax Dei. Pax Dei. Pax Dei Social Sandbox MMO. If you want to know the lore, it's not exactly easy. You can look it up in Discord. If you do not go to Discord, it's right there. Can you see that? Right there. You would not know this unless you went to the site. You went to media, lore. You have all these pretty pictures. Aren't they so pretty? Look at the sun. Look at the sun, how nice it is. Look at the antagonist. Look at how antagonizing they are. Right? Look at the wolf. Look how wolf it is. Look at the... Never mind. I used that for a thumbnail. It was a good one. So the lore. The lore. There is a place to go, and we can read it. And we can read it about who you are, the age of the ancients. If I find the first 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, birds. There's a couple versions. Where's number 1? You said this made sense. Of the Fae and the meaning of birds, Age of Paradise, the 9 creations before, the dimming light, and there's other things. A letter found in Lioness. Ooh. Can we zoom? Can we room zoom zoom? I can't zoom. Ah. Yeah, we can. Oh, it doesn't care. Doesn't care. Oh no. That's a bad idea. So not so easy. Not so easy. When it comes down to, I'll do the lore. I'll do that. That will be coming up. Let's go back to the review. I'll do that because that's It's an easy fix. Did Mainframe do it well on the lore? They released it in Discord. How many people go into Discord and check it out? I see a very common crowd, new players coming in. Maybe some stick around a little. I'm not able, I read the Discord, I read it, and I am not able to really see anybody but the same people coming and going. It gets a little shaky when I play it. So, yeah, you can pick up stuff off the ground. You don't know what to pick up off the ground. What tells you to pick up stuff off the ground? You look at your key binds, which are very common to everything. You don't know. There is a mild tutorial. Where is that tutorial? Where is it? In Christ Jesus alone. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. So, settings and resetting tutorials are a thing. The plots, the deal. I'll have to look that up. How to look at the tutorial again. It's been so long. We just did full release, but it's still been months. You know, let's continue this review. Okay, she might help with this. She might help me. We have hints. She has a nice blending of screens going. It's nicely done. I liked my editor. It's nice.
At this point, you might reasonably assume the game would explain at least one of these things. You would be incorrect. The game immediately...
Okay, so, yeah, I get it. Okay, she's got a... You're not going to learn it in the lobby. As she's about to say.
Immediately drops you into the character creator, where you make several selections to piece together your virtual avatar. And nothing is known about this person. Absolutely nothing.
It's you. It's you. You create more of you, slices of you, pieces of people you know. But to start with, it's you.
Except that you are undeniably human, and you possess the distinct fashion sense of an abandoned village child who has been left to fend for themselves in the woods.
From the lore, that might actually be a bit true.
Next, you are prompted to select a starting location, and once again, nothing is known about this location except whatever is vaguely and mysteriously presented on the bare minimum map.
Okay, so yeah, starting out, you see the population densities. That may say there's really no one there, or just 1, 10, a dozen, that little green dot. You really have to have a bunch of people. She happens to be looking at a map. I'm surprised. I don't know when she did this. I thought Down had actually a higher population. We just looked at it. Those videos are gone. But we just looked at it. But I get it. What do you know about this place? Why would you go one place or the other? Why would you choose one map or the other? It's very ambitious for Mainframe to have just said, we need to make room for all these people who are going to crowd in. They released the lore in many ways through Discord. But mostly it was just on their website. Not very ambitiously engaged. Here we go. Bare minimum map. It is. You have no idea why you would, on this one, why would you choose anywhere? Well, okay, there's more water. And what do these boundaries mean? You can, but then the water's outside the boundaries. So it's like, okay, what does it really all mean? What's going to happen? Now, looks like she might have done like a lot of people do, which I expect this to be a little bit more busy. I don't know when she did this. Well, I know when she did it. She only updated a day ago, right? So I don't know when she did this. Did Down lose its population? Here we go.
But it's after that selection where the true high fantasy immersion begins, because you are then taken through a literal PowerPoint presentation that provides all the official lore you are ever going to get. And let me tell you, these are the cliff notes of fantasy lore at best.
This is a low fantasy game. Just saying. Low fantasy game.
What I successfully learned from this thrilling slideshow is that I need to make a home. I will apparently get to do some crafting, and I can choose either to play with other human beings, or just stubbornly play entirely by myself.
Was that a criticism? Play with other human beings, or stubbornly play entirely by myself? Does Penny Loafer play a lot of Sims where you just control the people around you and they do what you want? And you mate with them all day? Does she do like egg-laying games where you crossbreed creatures? What am I seeing right here? This is a well-edited. She's reading a little script, or taking what she thinks is the saltiest, whatever. Amazing. Yes, I started the live stream a little bit early. I might cut this and start another one at 11. We'll see. And do something else with this. We'll have to see. Here we go. Stubbornly play entirely by myself. Stubbornly. Yes, you get to play with other human beings. This coming up is funny.
That's it. That's the grand opening. The game gives absolutely no notes, my friends. You are just a medieval orphan with a hammer and a dream. And
You do not have a hammer yet. Or did they give you one on the start? We'll have to see what her starting pack is. That's kind of new to me, and I just saw it. I can't remember. I guess they did gear us up with a bow, too. We used to get nothing. 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 Hammer and a dream.
I'm going to stop right there because I deliberately chose...
There's another player right there, unless they've invited a friend. I'm saying there's another player starting out right there. This is default clothing. Home Valleys. You are in the Pax Dei area inside a home valley. Home valleys are relatively safe and are ideal for building your home. Here you'll find resources needed to start crafting along with enemies to fight for loot. Mobs, not NPCs, I would say.
The roleplay server, and I have absolutely no earthly idea what I am actually supposed to be roleplaying.
You're doing it really well. I'm a medieval orphan. All I got is 2 sticks and optimistically something about...
Now, Pax Dei is a Latin phrase that translates directly to the peace of God.
Thank you. Thank you. Contentment. Penny Loafer. Contentment. That's what it's all about. Contentment.
Historically, this refers to a medieval church movement where the clergy stepped in to protect non-combatants.
That's true.
Like peasants and the church itself from feudal violence.
Yes.
Which honestly gives me a little more context. So now at least I know my official roleplay identity Is he
You're not going to see that yet. Maybe in verse 7?
church-seeking European peasant, and the current date is somewhere vaguely between the 5th and late 15th centuries?
1400s, 400s. We're in the 500s. We're going through the 600s. First 6. Go. Just role playing.
Fantastic. So I take my first steps into
I think she almost said craptastic, but
this holy peasant
there's someone else right there. That's pretty busy Petra May. Did she pick the Shire?
landscape. And the very first official tutorial tip aggressively stresses
sorry,
the point
did she
of building
say-
a home. Take my first steps into this holy peasant landscape. And the very first official tutorial tip aggressively stresses the point of building a home. I am immediately getting the distinct feeling that this is HGTV feudal edition.
Home and Garden Television? Feudal edit?
I can hear the narration now. He's a dirt farmer. She weaves burlap sacks for the plague clinic, and their budget is 4 sticks.
She hopes to find someone to build with, though. Well, maybe she brought a friend. Maybe we saw...
And a piece of flint. But then the next tutorial tip tells me to gather resources to craft basic tools. And that is the exact second where the illusion shatters, and I realize this is a base building game.
Base building. Now, well, yeah, you build your factory or you join in with others. We do not need accommodations. We do not need a place to sleep, rest, heal, eat. We don't have any needs as far as community. Have that, like Sims, right? If you don't get enough social in your Sims, your character suffers, right? No, we don't have that. We don't have that. Base building game. The illusion shatters. Okay, so what I would have hoped Penny Loafer would have seen is that you have a permanence. And you can show up and get that plot of permanence for free in exchange for your time. And Mainframe making Pax Dei worth your time.
This is Minecraft without the voxels, Valheim without Odin. It's an MMO where
They got false gods. And soon we'll have voxels.
my greatest enemy isn't a dragon. It's municipal land development.
Music. Municipal land development. Municipal land development.
Basically, it is yet another base building game that blends resource crafting with mild combat. And look, I suppose it is technically considered an MMO because a large number of players can interact with one another simultaneously within the same persistent internet-connected world.
Let me go back. Isn't a dragon.
It's municipal land development.
That's... Okay, so she kind of jumps forward. I listened to this once, and so I'm remembering what she's saying.
Basically, it is yet another base building game that blends resource crafting with mild combat.
Yeah.
And look, I suppose it is technically considered an MMO because a large number of players can interact with one another simultaneously within the same persistent internet-connected world. but it doesn't feel like an MMO in the traditional sense.
She just had a couple people around her. MMOs channel you into all one area, right? You got your areas that you all have to go to. And so that keeps up the idea that things are happening. Even in the Korean MMOs, there are always people running around back and forth. You stop and talk to you. Now you feel like the world is around you. And maybe that's what Penny Loafer here is talking about. Penny. And do you want outside music? I don't have time. And he just came in. But Penny Loafer, she saw a couple people. She doesn't know how to look for more. Opening up the chat and all hasn't been found by her yet. There's other things too that I haven't seen.
It feels like I'm just clearing land for a medieval subdivision. So
You can't clear the land. It's either clear or it's not.
I immediately do the one thing you always do in these types of games. I gather random crap until my inventory is completely full. And
I'm not afraid of craptastic now. Yeah, gathering up random stuff, examining it, running your cursor over it, having looked through your UI, it might start to go, oh, I've seen this. Okay. If you have gone through your UI, I'll do it later. Of course, it's the little hammer up here, the K. It'll pop up behind here, but that brings up a menu of things you can craft, which is blocked by this. And I'm not going to change it yet. Because man, if I had, if I have to keep it rather large on the 1080, so it's perfectly fine on the 4K. It's just what we're trapped doing, man. Here we go. Catman, behave.
then I craft random crap until I finally have room in my inventory again.
She figured out how to craft. Is it random, or do you see things that you're like, oh, I understand, that's an axe, that's a pickaxe, or if I look at my benches, there are things I can't make, but on this bench, wood chopping block in your first carpenter or log bench, if these things have been noticed, the charcoal thing, it tells you it needs wood, and so you're like, oh, well this, I can get wood, so what does coal do? Let's just leave it. What does coal do? What am I going to do with that? Well, you start with something that makes it, and then you look at other things, and then you start to see ore, and you're like, oh, I'll look over my things. We can go through this. Interesting. This is a, well, it's a very disappointing take, I would have to say. It seems like someone with nearly 2,000 viewers has this straight up. Maybe that's why they're popular, because this is the way they are. Maybe that's why people watch. AI told me people like triggering on disappointment, negativity, questioning whether something works, questioning whether something's going to make it. I had to personally ask it, don't make a thumbnail like that. It actually congratulated me on, never mind. Random crap until I finally have room in my inventory again. And, well, okay, you need to learn how to make them storage.
This cycle is essentially the entire core gameplay loop. And look, if you genuinely
All right. I get it. I wasn't paying attention. Penny Loafer here is starting at the Petrome, where you have your initial items. There's a bit of storage I hope she found, so she could transfer her goods to that storage. I do not see Grace in the window, just her plot. She has purchased a plot. Right there. She's got that plot purchased right there. So right, if you're trying to go in and you got a plot just to be chill, or do you get a plot in the beginning? Wow, that'd be a plot with the purchase. But maybe I don't know. I haven't bought the game in a long time. So And I can't find the darn Steam key for Osgold. Anyway, we'll work on that. I'll just buy him a copy and gift it to him. But it's cheaper than when I bought it. Anyway, so it's she's doing it at the benches. So she actually has the things in front of her instead of having to craft them wondering what they do. She's looking at things, she's going to see clothes. She's going to see what she has to do. So I'm not quite sure. And look, if you genuinely enjoy, core gameplay loop is this going around, filling your inventory, crafting it out, and filling it again. If you're playing on these free things, yeah, things get pretty stoic. Here we go.
Enjoy the rhythmic zen of crafting and gathering. I suppose this could be quite an entertaining way to kill a few hundred hours.
Okay, I don't know how long this adventure lasted. She might have played a few hours, she might have played a couple days. I don't know. I can't see her grace or anything going up. I can't pick it all apart.
However, housing does appear to be the game's actual ultimate goal. And let me tell you right now, there are absolutely no zoning laws in medieval times.
Oh man. I'm not going to look at anybody in particular. Let's make sure we don't look at anybody in particular. We're not going to look at anybody in particular. We're going to look at the flame. Here, Catnap, let's enjoy a seat. We're not going to look at the flame. We are. Yes. No. There. We'll just... Oh, come on. We'll look here. We'll look right there. Nook's Place is just an absolute classic. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Catnap, you can... Never mind. We can't do that. I'll find another way.
People are just setting up their rustic digital equivalent to a trailer park double wide right next to a pristine hyper-detailed Tudor mansion. There is a giant structural treehouse thing awkwardly constructed right in the middle of wide, right next to a pristine hyper-detailed Tudor
Who's?
trailer park double wide, right next to a pristine...
Viroke, don't take that personally. I hope this is a friend of hers. Did she just call Viroke's place a digital... double wide
hyper-detailed Tudor mansion.
Hyper-detailed
There is a
Tudor
giant
mansion.
structural...
That's what she was... Yeah, okay, she says, yeah, right next to a hyper-detailed Tudor mansion, you'll find something that's rather Home Depot.
treehouse thing awkwardly constructed right in the
A Home Depot you live in.
middle of the map location I selected. It is absolute architectural anarchy. This game doesn't need a tutorial.
I'm sorry.
Treehouse thing awkwardly constructed right in the middle of the map location I selected. It is absolute architectural anarchy. This game doesn't need a tutorial. It needs a ruthless, aggressive homeowners association to hand out fines for unapproved thatched roofing. This game needs a lot of things, to be completely honest. And I don't hate survival or base building games. Minecraft is genuinely one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Valheim was incredibly enjoyable too. But if you are going to explicitly sell a game to me as a massive multiplayer online experience, and you're going to actively offer up a dedicated roleplay server, I need you to front load some lore.
Mainframe could put it. Could give us access to lore. Could put it where we could see it, where we could learn it. They could do that. Until then, Eltari has it. Please check him out in his info. I believe you'll find it there. In any of his videos. I believe. It's been a while since I looked at Eltari, I'm sorry. Is she anywhere near Kim B or anybody who's doing dungeon runs? I mean, that's a... If you need to front load some lore. I believe she's correct.
I need a baseline motivation. I need to know what this world is actually supposed to mean to me and how my
You survive.
character is supposed to behave inside of it.
But you can't starve to death. You can't die of dehydration. You just die in the woods. You respawn and you go get your stuff. Well, you don't have to go get your stuff in the home valley, but otherwise.
Because I think the developers started with a potentially great idea here. Create a living, breathing world that entirely comes alive through the actions of its players working together or against each other. But for that grand experiment to actually work, the players have to be there to make it feel alive. They need to be visiting the local taverns and markets or making massive, coordinated pilgrimages to neighboring cities.
Okay, so isn't that what she's going to be doing? Well, there's no use in sitting in taverns except to talk. But well, we could. I guess we all could drink, and if that's what we're doing, and then go out and do a drunk dungeon. I'm not into drinking while playing video games. Not into actually drinking while doing anything but dancing and joking. But it's or bands and all, right? So there's no reason to go anywhere because you can buy from anywhere. I was just reading Discord today. You can get online. People. Well, I already knew this, but they're just saying, "Oh yeah, you can get online and connect your shop and Pax Dei tools." They're talking about needing a log, needing to know how things come and go. Who's maybe they're I don't get in the market. There seems to be a posting issue. There seems to be, can you remove stuff? Because prices seem to change, and it would seem that they just, it's interesting. There doesn't seem to be any control but for the ability to post, and I can't wait to get into that. Here we go. But yeah, coordinated pilgrimages, those are the dungeon runs.
And above all else, it requires a thriving population to avoid just feeling like an empty single-player game.
Well, yeah, it does. That's the exchange of time. Now, a lot of people have beat feet to get to the max, so they can get to the dungeons, and they can wear armor, and they can look cool. But then they're like, what do we do now? And they're just kind of waiting for dungeon runs. They build, they remodel their place. You'll see them around. They'll chop a tree to repair a sword, or make a new one, excuse me.
Maybe that's my biggest issue with Pax Dei. I don't actually know what story I'm supposed to be stepping into. Am I a pilgrim, a settler, a refugee, a knight, a peasant, a future king? The game...
Oh, you start. You're starting. You don't look like a future king yet, right? You don't look like a knight. So you start. There's a lot of people who are way down the road from Penny Loafer. They're at all max levels, even after the full release. They've maxed out before the full release, and so even after the full release, there they are again. So, yeah, she's just beginning that journey. There's a lot of people wondering that once you get somewhere, where is it you've arrived at? So she's wondering what direction she needs to go to arrive at what? Yeah. They thought we would, I guess, pick certain things, but we could do everything. You can get everything, do everything. So, and we're not limited. We're not limited. Well, I've gathered enough baking goods. I'll just be a baker for a while. And people who are baking are like, oh, where'd the market go? Now it's all crowded. We don't have guilds. There's not that kind of organization. Even false, saying, oh, you live under something, and here's what you must do. Well, where's the thing we're living under? The divine. There are future kings in the home valleys, I would believe, and maybe through conquest, kings of more than one home valley. But, right, if your people don't think you're a king, then you're not. And a king sitting around going, yay, I'm king, that's just the king of dungeon runs. Actually that's what the clan does. They get on and do dungeon runs, and they do a little stuff like that. go out and battle a little, but once you've developed all your skills, you're not looking at that.
Game never really tells me. Instead, it hands me a hammer, points me toward an empty field, and quietly hopes the players figure out the rest.
Not quietly. Mainframe has actually said, figure it out. Music. We're almost done music. I'm going to cut the stream off, start another stream. If you're checking in at 11 o'clock, I'm going to make this a short. We're going to see how we fish it up and everything. I actually don't expect anybody to have joined me. But it's, because, well, my channel's not listing anything yet. So this is just really just practice runs. Really it is. Getting, getting the system more integrated, seeing how it works with everything else. If I do too much, I might have to move to 2K just to keep it from being skippy. And, well, who watches in 4K? Well, I do.
And maybe that's enough for some people. Maybe a year from now, this world will be packed with bustling towns, thriving markets, political rivalries, and player-made stories that make all of this make sense.
There you have it. More than a year, though. I think Iran will be at peace before this. People need a lot of peace to have that kind of time. I got kicked out of a camp I didn't know existed.
But today it mostly felt like I wandered into medieval suburbia and got assigned yard work. Until next time, keep...
Nice guys there. Got a good list. Yeah, I don't know if they have a group that they play with. Maybe she has a Discord and stuff like that. Check her out, Penny Loafer. Very interesting. I do not believe what she says about Pax Dei is inaccurate. What she believes she would expect to see, she doesn't see. And everybody in Pax Dei does Pax Dei different. Well, of course you can meet people who do it like each other, but it's pretty much everybody in Pax Dei does things different. All right, so anything
Keep
else?
exploring, and I'll see you in the next world.
Now, you will not see me in the next world. Well, unless you're in Christ. It's I'm here. Disc-used. Anyway. Alright, enough of that. Enough of that. Alright, so I'm gonna knock off Catnap. I'm gonna knock off. We're gonna not do the setting sun necessarily, but we gotta do the picture. We gotta do the thumb. I could have put her up, but I'm just gonna make this a short one. And if people check it out and see it, cool. I don't have any trigger bait. Alright guys. Keep your sticks on the ice. May the Lord bless you. And Lord bless you. See you later. 3 o'clock, Alaska time.